Welcome back from that quick commercial break. You're still watching this one live on Metro TV. We are live on DSTV channel 277, live on Facebook and YouTube, Metro TV Ghana. This morning we are looking at menstrual hygiene in commemoration, and we do have people from Planned Parenthood Association of Ghana. I have Atswei, Nee-Okpey, who is their communications manager, and also Kaba, Kogoziga, who is also the programs officer. Good morning, lady and gentlemen.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
We are well. How are you too?
I'm also good. Thanks for asking. Okay, so let's begin the conversation by you telling us what's the role Ppag plays in menstrual hygiene.
So at Ppag, our commitment is that would give young people and vulnerable people unhindered access to SR, HR services and information. Now, streaming that down to menstrual hygiene, we are looking at protecting the dignity and rights, especially of adolescent girls, because these are rights that, they must have, and nobody must deprive them of that. And so we at Ppag, our resolve is unwavering that every adolescent girl, even the least fortunate girl, should have access to, all the components of menstrual hygiene. Talking about sanitary pads, talking about clean water, talking about safe disposal mechanisms, talking about, places where they could comfortably change even when they are in school. Okay. And into our conversation, we look at how that even yields to the total development of the girl child. So for us as Ppag, our resolve is that we get as many people on board to join in our advocacy that sanitary pads must be declassified as luxury products. Okay. And so the prices then is affordable for the least vulnerable girl in Atswei, for the least vulnerable girl in Teshi, for the least vulnerable girl in every nook and cranny of the country. And so that's our role at Ppag.
Okay. I really love the fact that you stated that you are trying to get everyone involved, and we have Mr. Kogoziga here, who is a man.
Yes.
And so I will ask you, what role does a man play in this awareness or this commemoration day?
Yes, so like she said, our role as an organization is to call national conscience onto the issues that affect vulnerable people, especially adolescent girls, in this case, with menstrual hygiene. And when we say people are very vulnerable, it means that many other decisions by other people affect their lives. So young girls, for instance, who do not make any income, would rely on their parents and, of course, their fathers for basic needs like menstrual pads and material. And what comes to mind is for a young man or an elderly man who doesn't understand any issue of menstrual health. What can they do for their daughter? What can they do for their wife? And those are the basic points where a man comes in, because for us it's about getting them to understand menstrual health and menstrual hygiene first, and then to see how they can support these vulnerable young people. Because I usually ask a basic question. A lot of men play their role by providing food and sending their adolescent girls to school. But how many actually think about the menstrual hygiene needs of those adolescent girls? And we know how that trickles down to their performance in class, their total development, like she said, and all of those things. And for the boys, I encourage my male friends to install apps that help them monitor their menstrual cycle. Because it is not, you see, we have diverted the focus from tracking your partner's menstrual cycle for health reasons to for sexual reasons. So people focus on a free period and all of those. But what about the mood swings that it comes with? How many men understand the pain and all of that? How many men understand that to be able to relate well with women? For me, I usually just cite that I believe a lot of sex and gender-based violence is happening in homes because people lack understanding of mood swings, which is a byproduct of menstrual. So all of those things come in, and people need to be informed first. Then they can play a role by trying to help the women and the girls to deal with that. Yeah.
It's good. I mean, in JHS, when we were given free pads in class, the guys were laughing at us. That's what is this? So immediately we got it, we were the only girls taking it. So immediately you get to put it in your pocket. Put it in your pocket. But then since the inception of this initiative, how has it been?
I mean, it's been a mixture of everything, both good and bad. You'd have people say that, why should you talk about more personal things like menstruation?
Yes.
There is a need to talk about in 2019, a 14-year-old girl committed suicide in Kenya because she went to school. She didn't have what could actually take her through her 5 to 7 days menstrual period, and then she soiled herself. And then the boys in her class were calling her dirty. They were, period shaming her. When she got home, the only option she had was to take her life. Yeah. And that's how grave the situation is. And so, that's the bad side. Let's consider this. Imagine you as a presenter to have to miss work for between 5 to 7 days. Let's rethink its effect on productivity. Yes. But we are so inconsiderate about the fact that the little schoolgirl is missing school for the same number of days, and we can't be bothered. Just accumulate this 5 to 7 days every month to a term. Yeah. And then we are talking about equality, we are talking about quality education. Yeah. Of course, it may not be the same for myself if I were an adolescent girl and for my colleague Caesar. Yeah. Because I'm missing school, 7 days every month. Caesar is in school and we expect performance to be
on the same level.
Obviously not. Yeah. But if we can equate this conversation to the fact that, how about if this girl was a Chief Justice who is missing work, and so work is piling for 7 days? Yeah. How about if this little girl is, for example, the first female president of Ghana, and for that reason, the girl cannot go and work for the progress of the country. And so let's look at the balance and to see that when it comes to productivity, as for those of us in the corporate world, it is the same. Let's put same weight on the girl child who is missing class. Yeah. For having to stay at home because, of course, I can't afford sanitary pads and I'm using rags. And if they are using the rags, they have to go out of the classroom every 2 hours. So if I'm walking from here to wherever I'm coming, it's like 15 minutes, 20 minutes journey home. I'm walking back to change my rags, and then I'm coming back. I may have lost some contact hours. Yeah. That aside, what if I decided that, of course, I'm not even coming back to the classroom? How about the insecurities around? Is somebody looking at me? They lack confidence, they are stressed. See, learning on its own is difficult. Yeah. Talk less of having to go into the classroom with the burden of what is underneath me, and everybody is playing, you can't play. And that is where we are actually denying the girl child of her right to a happy life, of her right to education, of her right to, good health and well-being. And these are what our SDGs talk about. SDG 3, good health and well-being. Let's go to 4 and talk about quality education. Let's go to SDG 5 and talk about gender equality. And so we are babbling gender SDG and SDG this and SDG that. But on the ground, the basic things.
It's not done.
It's not done.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about how expensive, because we are trying to make it equal for everyone. If you are in Accra, the least fortunate girl. Okay, least fortunate girl, good. What you get in Accra, it has to be applied in the northern region, maybe in the Ashanti region. Why are the pads so expensive?
Caesar, why are the pads so expensive?
You see, so
it keeps going high.
And it will continue to go. It will continue unless something is done. And Caesar will tell us what needs to be done.
You see, and I like what she said. For us at PPAG, it's about calling national conscience, like I said, to how we are going to set our priorities right. For instance, menstrual pads have certain components of tax on them. And let me start by saying that every product imported into the country attracts VATs of 12.7 or so. And that is uniform for every product. Everybody. So for every menstrual pad any lady buys, that is on it. But that is not the most difficult part for us. Menstrual pads have also been classified in the basket of luxury products in this country.
Why?
And the why will come later. But that attracts an additional 20% tax. So So for every men's
apart from the 12.7, there's an additional added
20%.
that makes it 20%.
And it means that you are not, it is not even the tax on the product. You are not taxing the product.
No.
By extension, you are taxing the poor adolescent girl.
Yes.
So by extension, every adolescent girl who buys a pad for about 10 cedis average, now as it costs, pays,
depending on which brand.
Which brand, yes.
pays about close to 35% tax on it. So if you take the 35% tax component of the 10 Ghana cedis, you are talking close to 4 cedis. So I can confidently say that if we set our priorities right, we can reduce menstrual products, the prices of menstrual products by about 40%. And that will go a long way to help attendance in school. Because there's a complete link, it is a direct link that has been established between menstrual hygiene and menstrual health and the socio-economic development of girls, their educational development, health and well-being. So if we preach every day and we claim that we want to ensure gender equality, then again it's priorities. Do we prioritize appointing a female justice who is already made, or we are prioritizing providing opportunity for the vulnerable girl in the village to be able to become a chief justice? So that people don't preach every day and say that we don't have as many MPs in parliament as possible. I tell them, the MP of my constituency who have been a female got pregnant because she could not afford a menstrual pad and had to give in to a man who will buy it for them. So do you wait for the ready-made now to become MP, or you are waiting, or you are providing an opportunity for the vulnerable girl
to
in
groom
your society,
someone in the society
to become an
MP. That MP.
And Mahatma Gandhi's saying comes in that if you want to judge a society, you judge it by how it treats its most vulnerable population. And for us, the adolescent girl in Ghana has not been treated right. We are using them as money-making machines to construct roads, to construct hospitals. So I can boldly say that a young girl of my age as a man has contributed more to Ghana's development than I have. Because the person...
And that is inequality we are talking about.
It's true.
That's inequality.
I want to ask you, what is the gender ministry doing about this?
I mean, so it has to do with our advocacies. We are in talks with them, with other partners on this, that let's declassify sanitary pads as luxury. It will take time.
It's taking a long time.
It's even taking forever.
Exactly.
We are getting them on our side, but you see, it will take time. It will take the finance ministry. It will take gender ministry.
Parliament.
It will take parliament, and so it's so many stakeholders, and so we are still in talks with them, and
to just add something. For instance, you see, and this is not politics. We know as an African society and a nation, we say much more than we do.
We do. Exactly.
So, for instance, last year we engaged members of parliament, we engaged the ministry, the gender ministry. There was a statement read in parliament to support our cause. That statement had a response from the gender ministry claiming or supporting that this luxury tax is really not doing much good like we expect. And so they are going to help the process to declassify it from there.
So what happened?
But that ends it.
It's in a pipeline.
It's
in a pipeline.
It has to be a national agenda, because this conversation has gone far. Every year we come back, we talk about it. Something has to be done. So if it's declared a national policy, irrespective of the government that comes, it's not going to touch that particular fund. But then our time is up. I wish we could have a lengthier conversation on this, but then I do appreciate you for coming. We had in the studio Caesar, Kaba, Kogoziga, and also Atswei, Nee-Okpey. And I really appreciate you this morning for really telling us a lot. We will still continue saying it. It will be in the pipeline.
And so for you in the media, help us with that.
We will say it.
And for you as, a female,
we'll keep saying it.
Please keep saying it. Please
thanks for coming this morning, and thank you for watching at home. My name is Anaya Tanobache. Enjoy the rest of our programs.